requested it. Ask and you shall receive. So you are receiving this Q&A. Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. It is Lovely Lou, and if this is your first time, welcome my love, welcome. It's good to see ya. And if this is not your first time but you're not subscribed, you might as well just hit that subscription button, because I know that you are gonna be back again because we be having fun over here. Good things be happening over here. And then hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I post a new video. But guys, let's get in today's video. So today I'm going to be finally doing the Q&A about the military because you guys requested it. Ask and you shall receive. So you are receiving this Q&A. So take it and love it and enjoy it. So write down this information if you need it, okay? So anyway, guys, to get into this Q&A, I wrote down the notes so that I could get into all the things that I need to talk about. So that's all I'm going to be doing. But let's just address the first topic, the one that most people ask about, like endless questions about, the hot topic, the go-to topic, basic training. Bruh, traumatic. Not JK, it wasn't traumatic, but it was definitely an experience unlike anything else that I will ever and have ever experienced in life. And I think that is the goal. So good job, Army, mission accomplished. I'm never gonna forget it. Anyway, guys, so what to expect for basic training? So when it comes to basic training, I feel like the first thing I should know is, first of all, you're probably gonna cry, because I feel like at one point or another, everyone who was there, I seen them cry. Or not that I seen them cry, but they cried. Because it's just that type of experience. But I feel like that's what it's all about. You get out all them weak tears, and then, you know, then you build up, boom, you're a soldier. You don't cry no more. You know, like, so, but you definitely, I think I cried. I know I cried. And I know pretty much everybody in my platoon cried. I seen it. So whether it's during like the family time, like when you get to call home, or it's during the PT, or it's just when the drill sergeant's yelling at you, most people, you're going to cry. It's just, you know, like at least once. It usually happens. It is what it is, you know, but we don't talk about that. Erase that from your mind. That never happened. Anyway, the thing that I think is super important to get to about basic training is that when you're getting ready to go, your recruiter, what they focus on is, oh, make sure you practice running and practice push-ups and practice sit-ups so that you can pass your PT test. And personally, like, that's definitely important, but I don't think that that is the most important thing that they need to be talking to you about, because let me just tell you, if you're not passing in the beginning, when you first get to basic training, by the end, you're going to be passing because you do your share of push-ups and sit-ups and running. And at one point, he lost literally like almost 100 pounds. Like, you're going to do your fair share of that. So that part is going to come. But what they don't talk about is the mental component. And I think that is super important, because let me just tell you, the way that basic training mentally breaks you down is really like unreal. Like there's not an experience that I could think of to compare to what I went through mentally, like at basic training. And nobody prepares you for that mental stress that you're going to go through, because not everybody can deal with somebody yelling at them all the time in their ear and stuff like that, and just talking down to them and stuff like that, and not encouraging you. Like, if you're somebody who didn't have that support system growing up, that might be a little easier for you. But people who were surrounded by people who were positive to them and supporting them is definitely pretty difficult to deal with. So that mental stress is really nothing like it. And I get it, like, you know, they're trying to break you down because, you know, when you're in a combat situation, it's life or death. You know, you can't be breaking down in that situation. I get the purpose behind it, but let me just tell you, baby, There is really nothing like it. Like, you can't, that mental component really smacks a lot of people in the face because they're not prepared for that. They're literally just so focused on that physical and not focused on that mental, is what I feel like caused a lot of people to not make it through, because they couldn't handle the mental stress that was put on them during basic training. That mental strain, it's not for the weak of heart. Another thing that I would say about basic is it's definitely a culture shock that you are not prepared for. I definitely have my bump-ins with a couple people, because you're like, when you're from your hometown, unless you're somebody who like moved around a lot, so you've experienced a lot of different environments. But me personally, I lived in Jersey my whole life. I grew up around the same people, lived in the same town. So everybody is like, like me, like, everybody is like you. So when you go to basic training, you're literally thrown with people who are all from all over the country. Which in a way, yeah, that's cool because you get to meet new people or whatever. But also, it's not cool because people are raised differently if they're from different places. So they act different, they have different mannerisms, different levels of respect for people, like different ways in which they conduct that respect. So definitely, you will probably get into it with some people because you're just really not used to different cultures. And I definitely think that culture shock was like, it was a little surprising to me because I consider myself like, because the town I live in is pretty diverse, and even like New Jersey is pretty diverse of a state. So it's like you would think that you're used to all kinds of people, but I feel like I'm used to all different colors of people, but definitely not people who act like not like Jersey people, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm used to like East Coast acting people and not people who act like however somebody from on the other side of the country acts, which is definitely totally different than how we conduct ourselves over here. So that was definitely like the culture shock. That's definitely an interesting component, but also I feel like it does help you. It builds character because it teaches you how to interact and deal with people who are from different cultures, which in reality, like, your battle buddies are going to be from all over the place. So it's something you're going to have to deal with. And it definitely, as a leader, it grows your leadership qualities because you're going to have to deal with those different personalities and put your own differences aside so that you guys can get the mission done. So that was definitely interesting. And then another thing I would say to help you, a tip for basic, make that one good friend, preferably in your platoon, so that way you guys are together all the time, who is going to be like basically your ride or die person. Like, you're going to be there for them and they're going to be there for you, so that you guys have each other's back through basic, because having that person and that support system there is definitely crucial to getting through. Because whenever you are feeling mentally drained, like completely, like you're on the verge of quitting, that person can be there to help you through. Because I feel like most people at one point or another reaches that point where they feel like they don't know if this is worth it and if they should keep pushing through. And if you have that person, that support system to get you through and like motivate you when you are completely demotivated, definitely crucial and important. So having that one friend will definitely be your key to getting through basic training. And just basic training, I can only speak on the Army, but the basic training it's about 8.5 weeks, like 9 weeks, give or take. And then it has 3 phases. It has red phase, the first 3 weeks, white phase, that's the next 3 weeks, and then blue phase. So red phase, like they always say, embrace the suck. And if you can make it through those first 3 weeks, then you can make it through the rest of basic training, because those first 3 weeks are definitely the most difficult that you are going to deal with throughout your time in basic training. Those are going to be the most difficult during your time. But if you can make it through those, you should be Gucci for the rest of it, honestly, because after that, like, you're already, once you get used to it, like, you're able to deal with it. You can deal with it. So yeah, that's what I have to say about basic training, which is usually the number one thing that people ask about, because everybody wants to know about basic. But I'm like, talking about it and experiencing it, 2 totally different things. I can talk about all I want, but your experience is probably going to be 100% different than my experience, because that's just the nature of the game. And you're different people, different place, like, it's just different for everyone. But definitely just remember those tips, and it should help you wherever you are and whatever type of experience you go through in basic. And then moving on to the next topic that I feel is important for this Q&A is deployment. So everybody thinks that being in the military, well, first of all, let me just rewind. I thought when I joined the military that because I was joining the National Guard, I was not going to deploy. I'm thinking I'm going to be home all the time and I would never have to deploy. Like, I would never be on active duty. Like, I knew obviously I would have to help out with national disasters because that's what the National Guard is, but I didn't think I was going to ever have to deploy. I definitely deployed last year. I just got back this past December from a deployment. So let me just say, if you are like me and you're under the impression that you're not deploying, or somebody lied to you and tell you you don't go nowhere, it's a lie. You do deploy if you are in the National Guard and you are in the Army Reserve. That does not mean that you don't deploy just because you are not active. They will scoop you up real quick and send you somewhere if they need you. And they actually usually deploy more than active duty because think about it. They're full-time soldiers, so they're at a duty station and that's like their 9-to-5 job. You're a part-time soldier, so they literally can just scoop you up, pick you up, and then boom, send you somewhere because you only work part-time, so like as a soldier, so like they can uproot you and move you to where they need you. It's easier to uproot you than it is to uproot somebody from their position on base already, because you need them there to defend that base or to do whatever job is necessary on that base. So yeah, you definitely deploy if you're not in the Army. If you're in the Army Reserve and you're in the National Guard, don't get that mindset because I definitely thought that, and it was a rude awakening when I got to basic and they were like, if you joined because you thought you weren't deploying, think again. And I was like, listen, just mentally prepare yourself for that now so that if the opportunity does come up or if it does happen to you, you're not surprised. And the next thing, which I think is super important because a lot of people are confused about this, is the military branches. All right, I'm gonna break this down real simple for y'all. First of all, let me just say, the word military, that includes every single branch: the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. So if you walk up to somebody and you say, are you in the Army or are you in the military? You're wrong. Because I am in both the Army and the military, because the Army is a branch of the military. So asking somebody if they're in the military, that's a good question because that means you're leaving the door open for them to say which branch they're in. But asking somebody if they're in the Army or the military, they're in both. Or asking somebody if they're Air Force, military, like they're in both. Military is the whole big old picture, and then you have little. It's like the whole the roots of the tree. The military is the roots of the tree, and then the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, those are like the little branches of the tree. So just think of it like that. Military is everyone, so we're all from that same root, and then we all branch off into our separate components. But just to go into detail of the branches. So in the Army, I am in the National Guard, but I am in the Army. The National Guard is a component of the Army. The Army has 3 branches. Little tiny branches. It has the active duty, which is obviously the people who go to different duty stations. That's the active duty part. They have the Army Reserve, and it's similar to the National Guard. We have basically the same benefits, but the Army Reserve is federal. And then the third component is the Army National Guard, which is what I am in, and that is state level. So I tend to handle like state things, state problems, whereas they may use the Army Reserve for like federal things or things that they can do around the whole country. But we normally like state level or like tri-state level. So the Army, they has those 3 branches. The next branch is the Air Force. Air Force, they have active duty, and then they have Air Guard. Air Guard is basically the same as the National Guard. It's just the Air Force's component of the National Guard, the Army National Guard. Then the Navy. The Navy also has active duty, and they have Navy Reserve. I never met anybody in the Navy Reserve, but I did research for you guys, and I found out that they do have a reserve component, so you can be in the Navy and in the reserve. And same for the Marines, which the Marines is actually, fun fact, a component of the Navy. It's not actually its own branch. Well, it is its own branch, but they're actually under the Navy. If you didn't know that, now you know. So yeah, but the Marines, they also have active duty, and they do have the reserve component of them. And then, like I said, all those branches, Army, Air Force, Navy, Reserve, Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy, and Coast Guard too. Those are all the military, to clarify. And then the last thing I wanted to discuss is life after basic, because a lot of people ask, okay, well, I finished basic, now what? So after basic, you go to your job training. This is just for Army, because I know the Marines has a different route that they take, but the Army, after we complete basic training, then you go to AIT, which is your job training. And then once you complete that, if you are active duty, then you will be sent to your first duty station. Now you do get to put in a preference. Keyword is preference, because it does not mean that you go there, because I've met some people, and at AIT they had a rude awakening when they didn't get their preference that because they thought that your first time, you don't, usually, it's not a guarantee that you get your preference. As you get time in, then you may get your preferences, may actually adhere to them and give you them. But in the beginning, it's not a guarantee. So yes, there were some people who did not get to go where they wanted to go and were pretty upset, but you do get to put in that preference. And then if you're in the National Guard or the Reserve, you go home and then you go to your drills every month. So you do 1 weekend a month, and then 2 weeks in the summer. And guys, that is about everything that I feel is like the major nitty gritty of the military that people mostly ask. Those are like the main questions that people ask. So those are the things that I address. Like I said, if you want me to go into talk about something else, you can comment that down below, and I will address it either in the comments, or if we get enough questions, I will make a video on it. But I hope this video is helpful to you if you're just curious about the military, or if you are thinking about joining the military. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you next time.